Covering the globe, fair and balanced. News at the speed of live. From New York, this is the Fox Report with Shepard Smith.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Fulbaum in tonight for Shep. And for the first time, U.S. forces taking the fight against an extremist cleric to sacred ground inside the holy city of Najaf. Troops were forced to go after the militant rebels in the town cemetery where they've dug in among the graves. The cleric's aides are complaining of damage to Najaf's most holy shrine. U.S. military leaders deny their troops attacked the mosque and say if you don't want these holy sites damaged, quit using them for a base of operations.
If you want to fight the coalition forces, go outside the city of Najaf. Do not hold it hostage. Do not hold the Shia religion hostage. And do not allow the sites to be held hostage to your seditious ways.
And now an aide to another cleric is calling on both sides to stop the fighting and leave the holy city. Mike Emanuel with the Fox Report for us now live from the Pentagon. Mike.
Well, Rick, heavy fighting in Najaf, numerous explosions and gunfire heard. Coalition commanders sent at least 7 tanks into the city's large cemetery to attack militia members loyal to radical cleric Muqtada al-Sadr. It is a dangerous mission in several ways. Many Shiites consider this burial site sacred ground. U.S. military commanders defend approaching the holy sites by saying the graveyard has been used by the illegal militia to stage hit-and-run attacks on U.S. forces. U.S. commanders say Sadr's militia must be disbanded, while some on the radical cleric side are calling for an all-out holy war.
We will declare a call to arms and jihad in the name of Allah to protect our holy shrines, our key religious figures, and our leader, Muqtada al-Sadr.
This comes as damage is visible in the gold dome of the sacred Imam Ali Mosque. U.S. officials say they want to make it very clear the Americans did not attack the holy shrine. And a U.S. military spokesman challenged reporters to ask Sadr's militia why they are using the shrine as a place to set up firing positions. Meanwhile, clashes continue between U.S. forces and Sadr's militia in another holy Shiite city, Karbala. U.S. troops are trying to carry out their mission less than a mile from that city's most sacred sites. Finally, a cleric loyal to Sadr is calling on men and women to carry out suicide missions against coalition forces. Rick?
Mike Emanuel, thank you very much. We're hearing graphic new details about the abuse of Iraqi prisoners from one of the troops who was there. And now a 4th soldier is headed to court-martial. The military has filed criminal charges against Corporal Charles Grainer. He is set to be arraigned next week, and he's facing more charges than any of the other suspects.
Conspiracy to maltreat detainees, dereliction of duty for willfully failing to protect detainees from abuse, cruelty and maltreatment, maltreatment of detainees, assaulting detainees, committing indecent acts, adultery, and obstruction of justice.
One of his fellow soldiers and suspects is expected to testify against Grainer, and now we're getting a preview of what he might say. Major Garrett with the Fox Report for us now live from Washington. Major.
Good evening, Rick. Let's take a look at a couple of new pictures from Abu Ghraib. They were provided to Fox by the lawyer for the latest soldier charged in the prison abuse case, Army Specialist Charles Grainer. They show lots of personnel watching Iraqi prisoners being humiliated. That's proof, Grainer's attorney says, that others in the prison ordered the abuse. Now, today, the Pentagon spelled out some of the specific allegations against Grainer, among them that Grainer struck a detainee, quote, on previously inflicted lesions with an asp, a metal expandable baton that caused pain sufficient to make the detainee cry out, quote, Mr., please stop. Under military law, soldiers must disobey unlawful orders, such as one to abuse a prisoner. The charge of obstruction of justice against Grainer is rooted in the alleged intimidation of Army Specialist Jeremy Sivitz. The Pentagon says that Sivitz witnessed criminal acts carried out by Grainer, who then looked at Sivitz and allegedly said, quote, you did not see blank. Sivitz was the first soldier charged in the abuse case. He said Grainer encouraged some forms of prisoner abuse and appeared to enjoy the entire spectacle. Late Friday, the Pentagon announced that it had banned 9 forms of interrogation that were previously allowed at Abu Ghraib. They were allowed but only under strict written approval of senior officers in command. It's important to note that none of the now banned forms of interrogation were in any way linked to the abuse discovered within the prison. The 9 banned interrogation techniques dealt with manipulating a prisoner's diet, environment, and scenery. They also included sleep deprivation, isolation for more than 30 days, threatening prisoners with guard dogs, and forcing prisoners to remain for up to 45 minutes in physically stressful positions. Rick, back to you in New York.
Major Garrett, thank you very much. 300 prisoners were released from Abu Ghraib today. Some were set free, others transferred to other prisons. The commander of the U.S. prison system in Iraq says they plan to release almost 2,000 detainees in the next month or so, and that would cut the number of inmates at Abu Ghraib in half.